This may turn into a rant video, but I'm going to try and make it as positive as possible. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I just want to say I'm really sorry for the lack of videos I've been making. I haven't been doing as much big art that's worth speed painting, so that's why my videos have been coming out a little bit slower, but I'm going to try to make more videos in the future. Anyway, I just want to talk about the picture before I get on to the topic. I was really inspired to draw because of this video that I will mention later. And I really like how this turned out. I think it looks pretty good, and I didn't use a base for it, which is a plus. So I am really proud of it for some reason. Anyway, so earlier on today, I saw this video called You Are an Artist by Leslie Marie, and I shared it on DeviantArt because I was just so inspired and motivated by it for some reason. I just really liked it. I'll put it in the description because you should definitely go watch it. Anyway, I'm going to talk about, I don't really know how else to describe it other than what makes you a real artist, with quote marks. And you've probably seen a bunch of videos where people say, to be an artist, you have to do this, and you have to do that, and all this stuff that most likely isn't actually true, but this happened to me in real life, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I have this friend, and I'm going to call her a reference artist, which, in my case, means she finds something she wants to draw on the internet, like a picture of a dog, and she can copy it on paper really well. And in her parents' friend group, and my parents' friend group, and basically the adults, they consider that art because it's traditional and it looks realistic. That means you're an artist. But if you do not draw realistically, if you draw anime or cartoons or something that's not realistic and digitally, that means you're not an artist for some reason. And I'm gonna get more into this. So a while ago, we're at this fair and there's people selling artwork, and her mom was like, "Oh, you should draw this for me." And it's not something she normally draws, so I said, not in a rude way, but I said, just because you can draw one thing doesn't mean you can draw everything. And what I meant by that is, for example, you studied humans for a few years, and just because you're really good at drawing humans doesn't mean you're really good at drawing cars or buildings, if you know what I mean. I mean, of course you can, but you're not going to be just as amazing as you are with humans, if that makes any sense. And they kind of ignored me. They kind of just didn't really respond to me. They kind of talked to each other, and what I got from that is she wasn't talking to me, basically. She didn't mean, you guys can draw this because you guys are artists. My daughter can draw this because she's an artist. And I might be taking it a little bit too far, but it kind of offended me because they kept talking about artwork and how she's an artist and blah blah. And I don't know, maybe I was just taking it a little bit too far, but here's something that most of my friends don't really know, especially this family I'm talking about here. They don't really get art style. Like, you know, there are different art styles for everything, and they don't really get that. They just get realistic. And if you have an art style, then that means that you're not an artist, because the only art is the realistic stuff, even if it's digital or traditional. But if it's realistic, then it's art, and if it's on paper, then it's a plus, because then it's really art, like the Mona Lisa or something. So something that my friend and her siblings don't get is art style. We were watching this video a while ago, and it was a comic dub, and it had an art style, and they were complaining that they didn't like the style because it was anime. And I'm like, what? I'm sorry, what? Okay, this is before I was into anime, so I wasn't defending it just because, oh, it's anime. But no, it didn't look anything like anime. Like, just because it didn't look realistic and it might have had bigger eyes meant it was anime, which really ticked me off. It was so annoying. I mean, I think a lot of artists experience the, oh, is that anime? What anime is this from? But what? They don't get, like, just because it's not realistic doesn't mean it's like anime or, I don't know, some other style, but I just don't get that at all. Another thing, this is kind of funny. I was in a paint class the other day, and my friend was like, what should I paint on my background? And then I'm like, you should do like a silhouette of a girl with her hair flowing, her hair blowing in the wind. So we looked up references for that, and we found this one drawing. It was a drawing. It wasn't anime style or anything. So we show it to the teacher. It's like, hey, how is this reference? And she goes, oh, that's really good. It's like a cartoon, so kind of like anime. And I'm just like, yes, but no. I mean, it wasn't anime, but I was just kind of happy that she knew what it was, but she doesn't. Like, she's heard of it, but she doesn't actually know what it is. She just thought it was some Chinese thing with big eyes and long hair. I don't know. I mean, not a lot of adults with quote marks really, like older parents really know what anime is. So I would get why they would just think that any other style was anime. But no, these are like young teenagers that are my friends, and they just think that every other style is anime, which is very annoying. And another thing is, if you don't draw realistically, again, that means your art doesn't make any sense, and it's not art because it's not realistic. For example, if you have your own style and you're drawing, say, a human in your own style, and maybe you do an expression, like an exaggerated expression that a human actually can't do, she wouldn't get it. This actually happened. I showed her a picture of a character drawn by Leslie Marie, and I showed her, oh, look how good this is. And she gave this confused, kind of like, what the heck is that look? And she's like, what is that? Something that isn't even related to what it actually is. And I'm just like, what? What? I mean, just because it's in its own style, it's in a chibi style, but you can still say, this is a human, it's not like a tiger or anything, so what the heck? That's just, I just didn't get that at all. Just because it's not realistic doesn't mean that it's not art. And, of course, I support my friend, I like her art, and I'm not saying that she's not an artist, and I'm not saying that I'm an artist, and I'm so much better, but and all my friends and everything think she's the great artist, and since she can draw this, then she is amazing, and she belongs in a museum, and all that stuff, but it just really gets to me for some reason, and also because I draw ponies, that I'm even less of an artist, because I know, I mean, people wouldn't really want to buy art of ponies, in real life, unless they're brony or something. You can get further knowing how to draw other things, like animals and humans and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that I'm not an artist just because I don't draw realistically. I don't get that at all. What? Oh, it just gets to me so much for some reason, and I don't know if I said this already, but a while ago I showed her brother one of my artworks, and he was like, oh yeah, but you don't do real art like my sister. What? What is that supposed to mean? And he said that again recently. Something like, oh, you don't do real art. What is this real art you speak of? Just because I don't draw realistically on paper, does that mean that the things I draw is not real art? I don't, that kind of upset me because they're my friends, and I know that because they think all this, they don't really understand, and my reference artist friend she doesn't study art. She doesn't do tutorials or anything. All she does is look at a picture and copy it, which is, again, a good skill to have, but that's all she does. And she isn't looking to improve. And that's why I just don't say anything about it. I don't, of course, I wouldn't say, hey, your art isn't actually art or whatever. And I'm not even gonna risk saying that's not anime or something, because she is the artist around because she has the title of being the artist by her parents and her parents' friends and her siblings and all that, and I am not an artist because I draw ponies in a cartoon style and I do it on a drawing tablet and not paper. I'm not the artist, so she's not going to listen to me whatsoever, so I just don't even try, but it's just kind of annoying. Oh, I'm sorry, I rambled a lot in this video. I probably repeated myself a million times, but I don't know, it just gets me pretty fired up. I mean, just because you don't draw realistically doesn't mean that you're not an artist. And I'm going to have one more example of what they think. So, for example, there's a drawing of a realistic dog, and then there's a drawing of a cartoon dog. They're going to obviously think that the more skilled artist can do the detailed, realistic dog. And of course, because it looks more realistic and stuff, and with a cartoon, it's a little bit more simplistic. That means that there's way more art skill in the realistic dog, and they think that the cartoon dog didn't take any skill at all, because it's just a couple of lines and just a couple colors, where in the realistic dog, there's like all this shading and fur and all this stuff. And yes, that can be true, but that doesn't mean that the cartoon dog took no skill to do. It is just as good as a realistic one. And because they can do realistic, doesn't mean that they can do the cartoon one. They're both totally different styles. And of course, if you have an idea of drawing, you can probably draw most things. I basically just said the exact opposite of what I said earlier in the video. But for example, I guess like if you can draw this type of dog, you can probably draw this other breed of dog, if you know what I mean. Or maybe even a cat or so. But that's what I was trying to get at. But basically, cartoon style takes less time to do because it looks more simple and they have bigger eyes and less shading and you don't have to draw other hair strands or whatever. Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to stop it there. I could probably talk about it for ages, but I'll probably just repeat myself over and over. I'm just really, I don't think passionate's the right word, but I just get really fired up about that type of stuff. And again, I'm not saying that I'm an awesome artist or anything, but that doesn't mean that my stuff isn't art just because I'm not drawing super realistic horses running in the wind and stuff. Okay, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you relate, please comment down below because I would love to read them. I hope you guys enjoyed the speed paint, and yeah. I'll see you guys in the next video, and bye. Love you guys. Bye-bye.